Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show, Nail the Sale podcast. I have Benjamin with me. Ben, one of my good friend, and he's in sales for a while now. I would like him to just jump on himself and introduce what he's doing right now, what his journey been like, and Ben,
Yeah,
we are looking forward to it.
100%, man. Yeah, good to connect with you again. Right now, I'm selling for a real estate marketing company that works with investors, people that like flip homes and stuff like that. Just started closing for these guys, so it's pretty much a newer offer for me. But you know me, man. I worked on like a bajillion sales teams. So I worked on Cole Gordon's team for a year. I worked with freaking Alex Becker. I worked with Eli Wild. Do you know him?
Yes, yes, of
Yeah,
course, yes.
Eli, yeah. I worked with this guy named JK Molina for like a year on his sales team, building up, doing a lot for him. Worked for Rudy Maurer for like three months. So he has a bunch of offers under him. So I was selling for like Jordan Belfort, Les Brown,
Okay. You sold
basically
for Les Brown?
his offer. Yeah, yeah. He basically created a speaking program. So I was selling that for a minute.
I want to sit in his feet, man. That guy is legend.
Yeah, he's great.
He's
He's
great.
an insane public speaker, man.
Yeah.
He could just rip I watched some of the Zoom calls and he would just rip like a speech that would almost like bring tears to your eye. And just like someone would tell him their story and he would just like repeat the story back to them, but you're like, damn, like that was crazy.
Yeah, that's
And
crazy. That's actually crazy.
yeah.
Totally. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I got started in high ticket sales like in 2017,
Okay.
selling my own stuff. So I was
Oh,
like freelance copywriter and we started an agency.
okay.
Then I got into coaching for like 3 years for our own business. And then after that, me and my old business partner broke up. I went to work for Cole's team. So Cole Gordon's team was like the first like high ticket sales team I worked on,
So do
which
you
was
coach?
interesting.
Do you still have your coaching program?
I still coach people on the side, kind of in sales, mindset stuff. A few fitness people. I've been getting in shape. I'm always
Of course,
naked on
yeah.
Instagram, as you said.
Yeah. Yeah, whenever I saw you on stories, you're always naked on the screen, man. And I actually said
I
that
have
the other
pants
day,
on, bro.
right?
I have pants on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. No, nobody saw them because you're
Sometimes I
taking
should.
half pictures and half videos. And yeah, man. All right. Thanks for actually clarifying that you wear pants too.
Yeah, yeah. Or shorts. I
Of
mean,
course, man.
yeah. It's lead
So
generation.
yeah, yeah, true, man. You're not gonna get those leads that you're actually looking for with that.
Different hype to lead, my buddy.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, Ben, tell me a little bit about your childhood, how it was, and how did you
Yeah.
actually, tell me about it.
Yeah. It was interesting because both of my parents were entrepreneurs, more so my dad, but my mom always sold, she like makes jewelry and she would always sell it. And my dad was, when I was a baby, he would basically take me out with him because he would sell stuff door to door. And so
So he used to take you with himself
yeah,
when he
yeah,
was
yeah,
selling door
in
to
the
door.
truck.
You were shadowing actually.
Yeah, I was shadowing. Yeah, I was like too young to remember it, but I remember as a kid, like he went from like selling door to door, and then he became a manager, and then he started starting his own companies, and his skill was really growing companies really fast by just building huge sales teams. Like in the
Oh,
'90s, when satellite dishes came to Canada, I'm
yeah.
from Canada, by the way, in case you're wondering. And it was like a brand new thing. And they were selling from like 4 grand. He basically started a company, and within like a year, I think less than a year, he had like 200 sales reps. Like I think they were sending like a million flyers a month or a week. They're doing like 250 grand like a day or something like that.
In
And then his
90s.
partner like embezzled that company in the '90s. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was always off. Like I lived with my mom most of my life, but I would kind of go and he would like fly me to Toronto and we'd kind of hang out and spend the summer together or something like that. And so I was always kind of around that. But funny enough, dude, I was like an introvert, like crazy introvert. I never thought until my mid 20s that I could even get into sales. So I was actually in engineering before I got into sales because I'm like, yeah, I just want to like sit on a desk and like not talk to anyone and just make money, you know.
Yeah, those type entry data entry type kind of jobs, right?
Yeah, I did a lot of data entry actually in my early 20s and I hated it.
Yeah, man.
But I was like, well, maybe engineering would be better. And I was
Yeah,
like, halfway through college, actually, Ty Lopez started popping up with his Hear My Garage videos.
yeah.
And I was watching them. I was like, oh man, this is cool. I'm like, maybe I should get into business. I was like halfway through engineering, I started reading all these business books, and people are like, why do you read these business books, bro? Like, you're an engineer. I'm like, I don't think I want to do engineering. And so I graduated, and as soon as I did, I basically got into sales. Because every book was
Crazy.
like, as you see behind me, I got a shit ton of books. Every business book I read is
Yeah,
like, you have to learn sales. You have to learn sales. I was like, no.
yeah, yeah. And the best part is, we are seeing like you went to the college, I went to the college, even university, right? And
Yeah,
they never told a single thing about sales.
no,
That's crazy.
of course not.
Even
Yeah,
I have masters in like business administration, right? MBA. But there was only one book called Entrepreneurship, and there was nothing about sales in entrepreneurship as well.
that's crazy. That
That's
should be the whole
crazy.
book.
That
Here's how
that
you go get people to buy
that
your
should be the
stuff.
whole book.
That's
Yeah.
entrepreneurship.
Like there should be a proper book with the name of how to sell, right? Or about selling,
Yeah.
the complete subject, and complete grades about it and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Like
But
if you go in business school, they should make one semester, you got to go and sell door to door for the entire
absolutely,
semester.
man. Yeah, and
Or
the
cold
results will
call.
be how much. Yeah, or cold call. I remember those days, Ben, when I was selling ADT home security alarm system in 2009. I was
Oh
14,
wow.
and I got a job in home security alarm system company in a call center actually, where
Yeah.
I got hired to set appointments because my voice was not 14 years old kid, right? I sounded like
Yeah.
18, 20.
You had like a full beard back then, even then.
Yeah, even when I was 14, I had like full beard. Full beard
Damn.
when I was 14, yeah. So I got hired. They asked me for my documents, and I was like, I don't have them right now. And the manager was like a kind enough. It was a small floor, you know. He hired me.
Yeah.
He just that was just a chance I got. So I started selling, and the best part is, from the first day, I started booking some appointments for closers, right? And in three
Nice.
months after probation period, they actually promoted me to closer, and I worked there for like four years, bro. I got
Really?
turned, yeah, I turned 18 over there. I turned
Wow.
18 over there, and then from there I moved to like other companies who were actually selling to U.S. market 100%, and it was all
Okay.
through calls over the phone. Like right now, when people say we don't have bad leads, we don't have this or we don't have that, I I just sit back and think of those days when I was just making
Yeah.
calls from a list, and the list was like pretty old, right? And we were still making money.
Yeah. They're like, who is this? Like, yeah, yeah, it's
Who is this?
security, blah, blah, blah.
Or sometimes they're like you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
They're abusing
Bro,
you.
like I got started in door to door selling solar and then
That's
selling
tough.
like internet and stuff to
Yeah, cable
homeowners.
internet services. Yeah.
Yeah, because
I did that too for like so long. Cable internet services, cable
you
internet
make like
home security
$100 a
alarm.
sale. 100, like we made $134 a sale if we sold all three. I'm like, oh
Yeah,
yeah, big money.
yeah, big money. Cable internet phone, all three. And if you're selling home security on top, then it's a little bit more, right? But
Yeah,
if you add solar, it's even more. And even in high ticket sales, you're selling like a $5,000 program paid in full, and you're making bare minimum $500 straight up.
yeah. I mean now, I actually, so I kind of went like I was selling my own stuff, and then on Cole Gordon's team, I was a setter.
Yeah.
Um, you know, at the time when I joined, every setter was making at least 10K per month, so it was like pretty good. And then it went into closing. I was closing after that. And then this company actually hired me back on as a setter. I didn't, I don't know. I was just kind of like looking for an offer. My buddy hit me up and he's like, "Hey, they're paying these setters 8% commissions on like an $8,800 offer." I was like, "Oh, that's going to be easy." So, um, yeah, they literally just moved me into like a closing position again, like last week. But yeah, I was just thinking back. I'm like, even as a setter, you make like 700 US for like
Yeah.
one deal. You're just sitting at home calling people. Like I worked so many shitty jobs throughout the years. Like I used to work in construction, like 10 hours north of Edmonton in Alberta. So basically in the north, like in the Northwest Territories, like
In
the
Alberta,
North
right?
Pole. Yeah, for 2 grand a week Canadian, which was like okay money,
Okay,
right?
money, yeah.
But you're in the
But you're
middle of
just
nowhere.
getting
I'm
it.
going,
Yeah, you're just getting by, like
yeah.
it's just hand to mouth thing. Like $2,000 Canadian is like equals to like just like an
No,
average
a
living.
week, like eight grand, like
Oh,
eight
eight
grand a
grand's
month.
a month is good. Then it's good.
Yeah, but there's nothing to spend it on. So you're like literally in the middle of nowhere. There's
Yeah.
like I go on Tinder. I'm like, oh man, I wonder if there's girls around here. Three
Yeah,
girls in like 100 kilometer radius. There's like nobody there. I'm like,
bro.
this is hell. Now you sit at home, like people are like, oh, sales is so hard. I'm like, have you actually worked like a labor job where you actually work hard? Like it's not that hard talking to people and making really good money.
One of my uncle's friend, he's living in Qatar. I know
Yeah,
you've been there in Dubai for a while.
Dubai. Yeah,
Yeah, you've been in Dubai. So Dubai is also a Gulf country, Qatar. So
yeah.
he is working for not even $1,000 a month, and he's
Wow.
living in a desert, bro. He's living
Yeah,
in
that's
a
crazy.
desert. That's crazy. He was like he used to look white, but now if you see him, like he got skin burn, man, and that's
Damn.
he's still not making like good money. Whenever I talk to him, and I'm like, "You're making a lot of money, and how are you spending it?" He said, "Well, the only time I spend money when I come back to my own country. Whenever I come back to my
Yeah.
own country, that's when I spend this money. Otherwise, in my 100 meter, 100 kilometers, there is nothing, right? I cannot see anything.
Yeah.
So
That's crazy.
that's crazy, man.
I know people that work in Saudi Arabia and Dubai.
Yeah,
I
man.
mean, they usually get paid good. They have like almost like a slave class though, like to be honest over there. Like people from
Dubai is a
Pakistan,
class.
India,
Pakistan
like
and India, they are dominant over
Africa.
there. Yeah.
Yeah,
People
if
from
it's like I think they
Pakistan and India are dominant
built
there.
those, they don't pay them anything.
Absolutely, man. Ben, I realize that you've been working, not working actually, but been around your dad and your mom, and both were selling, right? I know you did some
Yeah.
other jobs as well, right? So
Yeah.
selling high ticket online is totally different. How did you learn to sell online? And have you invested in something, or what changed your mind?
Oh
Why are you
yeah.
selling like 4,000, 5,000, $10,000 deal?
Well, I basically got into freelance copywriting after learning about yeah, after doing door to door because I was looking for ways to make sales easier. And there's like I read this book called The Education of Millionaires. It's like, oh, there's this thing called copywriting, like in direct marketing, you can make people come to you and buy.
Yeah.
So you don't have to go and knock on their door. I was like, whoa, this is a cool thing. And they're like, yeah, all these guys like Dan Kennedy and these like legends like Frank Kern at the time,
Dan
they're
Kennedy
like,
is
they get
like one
paid
of
like
the best.
150K.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the goat. He's the goat. Um, like all these guys get paid like 150K for a sales letter and like a percentage of revenue. So they might make like $2 million for like that. This is what the book said. I was like, this is a thing, like holy shit. So I spent the next 3 years just doing that. And I remember like I would get like tiny clients, like maybe
Yeah, but
like
you were
a
evolving actually, right? At the meantime, you were actually
yeah.
evolving there. Like now you were understanding, okay, like that's how we sell online, right?
Yeah. And the thing is, like my mindset at the time, like when I when I pitched my first copywriting client, Like I actually sent them. I wrote a letter and I like mailed it to them with like a lottery ticket to the top, and they called me up and they're like, "Yeah, we're interested. Like, how much do you want?" And the most amount of money I could think of was $2,000. I was like, and Dan Candy's like, "You have to do the straight face method. If it's a big number to you, just yeah,
Straight face, yeah. It's
it's
two
just two
thousand
thousand
dollars.
dollars." And they're like, "Okay." I was like, "Wait, what?" Like they agreed so fast. I was kind of pissed. I was like, "Man, I think I lowballed myself." And then I got freaked out because like I was new and I hadn't worked with any clients yet, so I kind of ghosted them after that.
At
But
that time,
so yeah,
asking for $2,000 was a big money for you, and you were shivering at
it
that
was
time
huge.
too, right?
I was like shaking in my boots, man. I was like, who even
Yeah,
has $2,000? Like, this is so much money. Like, it's so stupid.
the
Like,
copywriting.
yeah, man. Because like, I don't know. I had just been broke for so long before that, but yeah, it was just a gradual thing. You know, I would get a client here and there from like $500 here, maybe $1,000 here.
Mhm.
Um, and then eventually I got a big client who paid me $4,000, and that was like,
Wow.
I was like, whoa, like life changing money as a copywriter at the time. I was
That
like,
was the
holy shit,
first
like
mid
let's go
high
on a
ticket
trip.
sale. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, that was like the most amount. It was like 5 grand Canadian. I was like, holy
Wow.
shit. And eventually we started like our ad agency working with like financial advisors. I bought my first high ticket sales training was through Sam Ovens. I bought his consulting accelerator.
Okay.
And I remember I was like, I think I bought Ty Lopez's program too, like this SMMA program back in like 2017. And I was like, how am I going to like get clients for this? I asked my dad at the time. He's like, why don't you like drop off flyers? Flyers. I'm like,
It's
it's
not
social media.
90s, Dad.
I just, yeah. He's like, just do it. I'm like, all right, I'll do it. And I dropped off a few flyers, and this
Oh, you
company
did it.
locally called me back.
Oh, wow.
I did
Okay.
it. Yeah, yeah. I'm like, I could do this shit. They called me back, like, hey, yeah, we want to talk to you. And I went and I had memorized Sam Oven's sales script, which is it's to this day, I think it's still pretty badass.
Okay.
And I remember I was just asking them the questions on the script, and the guy just started bawling. He just started crying like crazy. I was like, holy shit, this is working. It was like the
Yeah.
first experience I had of like a high ticket sale.
Yeah.
And then we just used that script and kind of iterated a bit for our agency and started charging like 5K for like a setup. And we joined another mastermind that was like 24,000. At the time, I was like, holy shit. Like I spent 2K, I think, on Sam's course, which was the most I've ever spent on a course. I've been saving up for it.
Time.
But
Yeah.
then we joined this mastermind. It's 24K American, so like 30 grand Canadian. Me and my business partner split it. I was like, holy fuck. But then
You made a
it
lot of
kind of like
money.
opened my mind. Yeah, I was like, well, the next call is like, maybe I'll charge 7,500. I'll ask for 7,500. Fuck it. It's only 2,500 more. And the guy was like, yeah, sure. Okay, boom. I was like, oh man, we could have been making an extra 2,500 for every client on the setup. And then the next client, I was like, what if we doubled it? What if we said it's 15K? And the next time I was like, yeah, okay. I'm like, what the fuck? It just like kind of like blew my mind. And then shortly after that, we kind of got into coaching as well because my old business partner had a big Twitter following,
Oh, wow.
and
Okay.
he just started talking about what we were doing, and a whole bunch of people apparently wanted to,
Dwayne, yeah.
you know, they wanted to know what we were doing, so we launched like a coaching program. We made like 20K in like a weekend. I'm like,
Oh,
holy shit!
wow.
Like, yeah, we sold it for like $1,500 and got like 20 people in or something like that. And we're like, damn, like maybe there's something to this coaching thing. And then we just kind of started growing that. And for a while, we were kind of doing both. And, you know, we were working with financial advisors, and I hated it so much because I was selling them and I was also writing the copy and all the marketing for them. I was like, I don't want to talk, I don't want to talk to any more financial advisors ever in my life. Fuck this.
Absolutely, man.
So yeah. And then, yeah, that's basically how I got into the whole high ticket thing.
Yeah, man.
And we just kept increasing our
I saw
prices.
that. Like, a lot of people like you actually did it, and that you practiced it, and that's exactly what you were preaching. But you guys did not have like a solid system in place and a team at that time. That's why you guys did not grow in your coaching business. I'm sure you can
Yeah, we
still
got up to
easily
like
do that.
50K a month.
Yeah,
We,
yeah.
like I went through Eli Wild sales training actually, and I remember we went from 30K to 50K the
Hmm.
next month. I was like, holy shit.
Wow, man.
That was like a next level up for me. I was like, wow, that actually made me really buy into sales. It's like, holy shit, like this is
It
badass.
happens because you guys have like the proper target market already who were following you guys, right? Who were following your friend,
Yeah.
no, your partner at that
Yeah, like
time.
we started running ads and stuff too. Like it's funny enough for the agency for the financial advisors, we um we just launched ads like right away. Usually people do it organically, but we had some money, so we're like, hey, why don't we just I'll write a VSL, I'll write some ads. My buddy, he was like good at media buying, like so that's kind of why we teamed up. And I was like, let's just like see if we can book some calls through because I've been writing copy for years. And like
Absolutely.
usually like when you launch an ad campaign, it takes, a few variations,
Yeah,
iterations
you
until it
have to
starts
test it a
working.
little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But for us, bro, it just worked. It was like the first as soon as we launched it, like my calendar was full. Like, holy shit, like
Wow.
this is crazy.
With
Yeah.
the qualified calls, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man,
Um,
that's that. You were actually talking about other day in about marketing and sales altogether. Like whenever you're
yeah.
interviewing a client, you actually sit down with them and check what
Yeah.
their VSL look like, what their marketing campaigns look like.
Yeah.
Tell me about it, like a little bit about it. I'm not talking about like only those people who are just trying to grow organically, that's good as well. That's even more authentic. But if you have a VSL or you have an ad campaign going on, that's even like fast track and more money, of course. So,
Yeah.
what your thoughts are about those coaches? Actually, if we just talk about coaches, and they are running ads and they are spending some money as well,
Yeah.
how they can like increase their audience and they can book more calls.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a bit different now. Like, I don't think you necessarily need a VSL, um, because a lot of my friends they just run ads. They'll do like a 90-second reel kind of thing, and then just boost that post on Instagram. And then when people are responding to it and following them, then they'll hit them up and book calls like that. And that way, that works pretty well right now. The only
And that's
downside is
that's
you
even
you
less
typically don't get their
expensive,
phone
right? That's
numbers.
cheaper.
Yeah, it's way less expensive. You can get started. Like I was coaching this girl. Um, she was doing like 15K per month when we started working together, and she wanted to get to 30. And at the
She's a
time,
coach
she was
too.
spending. Yeah, she was a coach. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, at the time, she was spending $300 on ads to make 16K. So I was like, okay, well, first of all, why don't we spend like 1,000? What if you spent more on ads? And she's like, huh, that's a good idea. And then we worked on her sales, just clean that up a bit. And now she's at like 55K or maybe like 45K American. She's also Canadian, but like
Yeah, I mean,
consistently.
isn't it amazing? Like, you have an ability online that you are sitting in your home. If you're married, you have your wife, your kids in front of you. If you're not, you have your
Yeah,
family, or even if you're alone, you have your peace of mind. You're sitting at your home and you're making 55 fucking $1,000, man. It's
a
like a
month.
big amount of
Yeah.
money, right?
No,
Like
it's crazy. It's life
people
changing.
are making like for $50,000 a year in America, right?
Yeah.
Even in Canada. So
People, a lot of them are making less than that.
less than that, even less than that, like 30 to $40,000 per year. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, that's something time blow my mind
But
because
to go back into the marketing thing though, just
yeah,
touch
yeah,
on that.
yeah, sure,
Marketing, I think of it like in golf, right? So if you have a really great drive
yeah,
and you get the ball really close, lands on the green or whatever. I'm not much of a golfer, but marketing makes sales easier, right? It can make sales really easy if you have really good marketing, really strong brand. Like if you're a closer, I would try to find somebody who has a really strong organic audience and they have ads as well. Because it's, especially if they have case studies, testimonials of just people like them, like that's going to be an easy offer to sell for. Versus if you don't have marketing, like what I was doing door to door, it's like I'm trying to get a hole in one from like 300 yards away, right? You're just hoping that you can just close somebody as soon as like they answer the phone or they open the door, which is crazy, but we still did it. But with really great marketing, all you have to do is put it in, right? That just sales is like, you know, like the better the marketing is, it's like you get people closer to like the finish line, before you talk to them.
absolutely, man. Because they pretty much now know, like, and trust you already, right? They did their a little bit of homework before actually jumping onto the call. And I always say that, like,
Yeah.
when the person is jumping on a call, sparing some time, they already have a problem, right?
Yeah.
And they need a solution. If you have a aligned system, like, you are unbreakable. And I was reading this book, Sell Like Crazy, and it was actually, he actually explained it like, if you spend $1 on an ad, like, just an example, right? And you're making
Yeah.
three out of it, that's not bad. And if you don't have money to invest,
Yeah.
you're not in business, right? So,
Pretty
of
much.
course,
You have no
of course,
predictability.
yeah. So,
Unless you have like a team of people that are on commission that are like doing outbound for you.
yeah,
Which that's what my dad did.
absolutely,
That was his whole model for scaling companies. So they did that with travel. They built a travel agency. You
yeah.
know, they basically had another business in like around 2007, right when the market crashed. My dad was like one of the first people importing stuff from China. He's basically drop shipping in 2007, like huge saunas and hot tubs, like high ticket stuff. And then the crash happened, and they basically went bankrupt. They had a really nice place. They lost their house. I had already been. I was 19, so I was in. I was already away for university. They had to move out to the country and just kind of like live at this little shithole. And like my dad's wife was basically giving them food, like here's some craft dinner so you guys don't starve. Right? They got rough, and my dad went to work for like a used car dealership to sell some cars and make some money. And Deanna, my stepmom, she worked for a travel agency, and one day Deanna was like bitching about her boss. She's like I could do this. Like I could run a better travel agency than her. And my dad was like, really? And they launched. They put an ad out on basically our version of Craigslist, like Kijiji in Canada. Say, hey, we're hiring travel agents, and they got 700 applications over the weekend. So my dad was like, holy shit, I think we have something here.
Wow.
And so at the time, all the travel agencies, they'd only hire you if you're already a travel agent, right? If you've been trained or something like that. But they just created their own little course training people how to become a travel agent and show them how to
Yeah.
get sales, how to how to do everything. And um,
Actually
they charge them
certify
like
you,
a
right?
couple $100. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
certify
And
you.
then you could sell through them.
Yeah.
And so within like 2 years, they went from zero to like having like 200 agents. For a while, I was recruiting for him.
Oh, wow.
Basically, yeah, like when I was a copywriter, just on the side, I would take calls with these people that wanted to become travel agents. And I think we charged them like $400 or something like that. But
Wow.
it was extra money for me. Like they paid me like $100 a sale, but I was like, whatever, I'll take it. But yeah, they grew that, and like they did like 8 figures in revenue like 2 years into it, and they ran that business for like close to 10 years.
Crazy, man. That's crazy. I mean, I'm seeing, like, I wonder sometimes, like, people, old school people, in 90s, they did not have internet, man, but they built empires,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Now we
just
have,
figured it
like, this
out.
is the best time to make a lot of money, because after
Yeah,
10 years, it's gonna get old as well, right? Things gonna are gonna get old as well, because, of course,
we might
new
be
things
so
will
deep
come
in with
up.
AI, man. AI
Yeah,
might take over everything in 10 years. We might not have any opportunity to do it. You never know.
maybe. Yeah, you cannot say anything as of yet right now, right? Maybe
No,
you AI will take over everything. Maybe AI will
yeah,
take over even the sales calls thing as well, right?
it already is.
It already
Like
did.
Air
Did, yeah.
AI is doing. That's
Yeah,
what they do.
I know, man. There are proper tonality, pauses,
Yeah.
and
Like
everything
I
is
call people
already
now
happening.
and they're like, is this AI? Like someone said that to me today. I'm like, no, I'm not fucking AI. What the fuck are
Yeah,
you talking?
my name is Ben.
Yeah, that sounds like an AI name. Like, bro, come on.
Yeah,
But
man.
yeah,
We are not going to talk about, like, more than 10 years now, because that scares some time. But of course, if we learn and master it, and we can actually take advantage of that as well, because after all, it's made for human to use it. But of course, a lot of people will lose their jobs who will not evolve with it. But my question right now is, I know you've been in sales for a while now, and it's not easy going on every other sales call, after sales call, after sales call, right? You may call and book some calls
yeah,
for yourself as well, and there are a lot of rejections. How do you handle
yeah.
those
That's what I'm doing now.
setbacks?
I'm setting all my own calls.
That's what I do too. And
Yeah.
how do you, like, handle those rejections and setbacks in your position?
Um, just number one is just knowing that it's like part of it, right? It's part of the game, right? If it was super easy, you wouldn't get paid as well, right? Um, so expectations going into it. If you think it's just going to be everyone's just, that you talk to is going to be so happy to talk to you, they're all going to buy, you're going to have a hard time. And the other thing is, I'm just big on habits, right? I do things to get myself in a positive state of mind, so that no matter what happened yesterday, I'm kind of like starting the day off on like a blank slate, because it's easy to get into ruts,
Yeah.
and that's why I'm so big on like hitting the gym early and waking up early and journaling and stuff like that, just to kind of clear your mind and kind of get you into a good state of mind before your calls. And like when you like a positive, people like when they think of a positive mindset, it's not that a positive mindset means that it's not going to help you do anything. And in the sense that, like, if you're a negative person, you can still make sales. If you're a positive person, you can still make sales. But typically, when you have a positive mindset, you do the things better, right? So, like, if you're like, I don't know, my old roommate, he was a car salesman guy, and he hated his job. Like, he would come home every night and just like chain smoke cigarettes and get high and just drink like 12 beer a night. Every day, he's like, he would go and be like, kind of put on my like sales face, and he made good money. He made, well, for like comparatively, he made like 80 grand a year selling cars. But um, yeah, I think if like he quit his job not too long after that, because like when you're always beating yourself up and you always feel like you have to become a fake person to close people or anything like
Yeah.
that, it's so draining, and it's so draining. Like over time, your morale's just gonna, just
Get down. Yeah.
disappear.
Yeah. Ben, I
Yeah. So
realize
big thing
that.
is attitude.
Yeah, it's big thing is attitude, and what I realize is, um, since 2009 till today, I was a kid when I started making calls, right? I remember people coming to the floor for training, and in the meal break, they disappeared, right? They
Yeah.
just left the floor and they never came back just because they
They're
thought
like,
this
oh,
is
this guy's a kid. Yeah.
no, not this. They came and they saw, oh my God, a lot of people are sitting and making calls. This is like a fish market, right? We used to sit and
Right.
work like the floor of Wall Street. That same kind of
Yeah.
floor we had. People are
Yeah.
standing, sitting, making calls, and
Yeah.
everybody is, hey, thank you very much for calling. Hey, this is Newman speaking. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody was like this, right? And in
Hmm.
that environment, I realized my younger brother, he's a closer too, right? My
Oh, nice.
and the um, my younger brother and the third one, like who's on the number three, he is running his own call center, right? It's a U.S. based
Really
company. Yeah,
interesting.
we are
My
all into
younger
sales.
brother is he he owns a construction company.
Okay,
He's out in Alberta, but yeah, he's really successful with that. They're
that's
doing like
amazing.
big
So
numbers. Yeah.
yeah, man. So what I was saying is like I think it's attitude plus if you like what you're doing, right? We are still
Yeah.
in the game because I like talking to people, right? That's why I started this
Sure.
show. I like talking to people. I know going deep. I like to know more, right? I like to get in details, say curious, and read more books, talk to people, implement things, and stay organized and stuff like that. And I think sales is a perfect job if you are a person who challenge yourself, right? Every day success is rented. You come every day, you pick up the phone,
Yeah.
you make new calls, you book some calls, or even if you are an organic coach who wants to sell for yourself, right? You can just send 30 DMs every day, right? You're
Mm.
getting some replies, you're booking some calls, and you're making some money, right? And of course,
It's hard for some people because it's like people want to get to the point where they have like, I feel like passive income. Or it's like I want to
yeah,
get to the point where the business is running itself and I don't have to like work at it every day. And
yeah.
maybe to extent you can do that if you have a team of people selling for you. That's probably
Delegation,
the
yeah,
closest you're going to
delegated.
get. do
Hmm.
passive income in a business. Like the biggest myth of passive income is that it exists, unless you're doing like I don't know, like
Yeah, man,
investing in
passive
stocks or
income
something.
is something like, of course, you are still, I know some passive income programs, and you still
Yeah,
have to work. You
but my
still
point
have to
is, yeah,
work.
it's like that constant. It's a constant push, and it's constant like making sure that you do your inputs,
Yeah.
and like when you're marketing, for example, a lot of people are really like narrow minded with like their with like the leads, like because I sell leads right now to real estate investors, and they're like, well, how many of these leads are going to close? Like, if I get like 10 leads, how many deals am I going to get? I'm like, you're thinking about it the wrong way, right?
Yeah.
You have to like look at your leads as like a cohort, not just like an individual lead. So every 100 leads, there's this company that basically surveyed whenever someone goes to a trade show, like let's say it's a home improvement trade show, this company surveys everybody every month after that. Like, hey, did you buy any chandeliers? Did you buy any faucets? Did you buy any uh whatever the thing was? Not from the brand, but just in general. And what they found is that like 50% of people over 18 months would have bought it. Like so basically everybody, 50% of people buy it in 18 months, only 15% buy in 90 days. And so what that tells us is like 50% of people will just never buy in general, or like at least on that time frame of 18 months. And only a small percentage are ready to buy like now, like basically, let's say within the short term, maybe the next.
Yeah.
In sales, it's kind of like it could be today, it could be 7 days, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, 3 months. Those are like still the short term leads, but people just kind of think that it's like every day if you just do the right things, you're going to get sales. But typically, if you've been in sales long enough, you know that there'll be days where you just get 5 deals in a day or 3 deals. You're like, where every other day it's like, like, I just went 2 weeks with no sales and it's like, boom, you get a whole bunch. You're like, whoa, like, what the heck? And is it my skill? And
Absolutely.
they're like, I must be good at sales now. Like, finally, I can rest on my
Yeah.
laurels. But
Yeah.
there's this idea of like tenure in sales. It's like all the stuff all the efforts that you've been putting that compounds. Sometimes people are ready now and it's a better
Yeah.
time. And all these other factors outside of just you and your inputs and your skills in marketing and stuff, right?
Absolutely, man. And that's really fruitful. And because it's not for everybody. That's right. And but this is important. Sales are important. If you don't know sales, uh, you may be then then if you don't know sales, you maybe need a salesperson, right? Because it's
Yeah.
important. It's
One thing
important.
Sam Ovens said in his course, which I'll never forget, he's like, if you master sales, you'll never be broke again.
Yeah.
And I
Uh,
fully believe that. So you
I
can just
fully
go and
believe
sell
that
anything.
too.
Like,
If you master sales, you're never gonna go broke because what will happen even if internet shutdowns today? Everything will go. We still have that
yeah.
skill. We can go and
People
knock
still
the
be buying
doors.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can knock the doors, and we still have those skills. We know how to talk and what the how we will start the discovery portion, and then we'll extract the
Yeah.
pain, right? And
Yeah.
then we'll
You
now
can't
bid.
lose your skill. That's the nice thing. If you invest into your skills, you
Yeah.
never lose them.
You're never going to
Really.
lose them for sure. If you invested in time or money or whatever it is. I would love to ask you one last question here because it was very important for the audience who are actually watching right now. Can you please advise, like, for even for the salespeople or who are trying to sell themselves, um, what type of decorum they should have in the whole day to make more sales?
You mean like how should you structure your day?
Absolutely, yeah, because that's where the real money is. Work ethic
Yeah.
is something.
And it depends what you're doing, first of all. So like if you're a purely closer only taking inbounds,
Mhm.
I mean, like I either way, no matter what, I always hit the gym before my calls because I know that puts me in a better state of mind. And so
That's the good point.
yeah, and then from there, I mean, right now my day looks like if I'm setting all my own appointments, so I'm like just ripping dials all day, just calling people up, having triages, booking them maybe for me the next day. Typically, when you're a business owner, for example, like I would try to to have all my triages on like a Monday, all my sales calls on like a Tuesday, and then kind of like Wednesday, Thursday, kind of do the same thing.
Yeah.
Because when you're going back and forth, it kind of like it can kind of fuck you up because you start asking closing questions in a triage call, and it can screw it up, right? And so like I always think like you set aside a certain block of time for prospecting, let's say 3 hours. Maybe you do it in the morning and then again in the afternoon. And in that time, or an hour and a half, whatever. In that time, if you have a dialer, you just all you do is you take your phone and you put it in another room and you block everything else that's a distraction. And that's all you do. You do everything
I'll
you can to get leads. Like because you're only making money when you're on a sales call, when you're booking a sales call.
absolutely.
Right. So that's what you gotta do. And if you're trying to find your own leads, it's just like you're spending all the time DMing people or sending cold emails or whatever it is. You're not like fucking around. You're there to make money, right? Like
Absolutely.
that's the biggest thing. And then finding time in a certain, like on like a Thursday for like today, for example, um, when typically like leads, if you're running ads, they tend to slow down towards the weekend for whatever reason, and then they build up again usually over the weekend, and it's just like the ebbs and flows of marketing. But usually on a Thursday, if there's not as many new leads, I'll rip all the people that I've had conversations with. I have like a hot list of people that maybe I've spoken to, but it wasn't the right time. So I'm gonna call all them, call people that maybe have said no on a call like within the past month or two, and then just like the more leads and like lead sources you have, the better. Because when I was on Cole Gordon's team, they had like 10 like at least 10 different ways that you could get leads as a setter. So
Yeah.
it's like they had a Facebook group, so you could message them, book calls. They had new leads watching their like a BSL opting in. You can call them right away. Then you have old leads. You have people that are like you have all these different channels. And so
Yeah.
really, it's like understanding intent, right? So if somebody clicks an ad, like right now, that's like the highest intent because they're like they're on top of their mind.
Yeah.
They're
That's a
so
now
interested.
thing for them. Yeah.
It's a
Absolutely.
now thing for them. Those people are like the most likely to be interested in having like a longer conversation right now.
Mhm.
And then it's like the curve, like the intent goes down drastically, especially after like 2 days. So um that's one thing. It really helps if you have inbound leads. If you're doing all outbound, I mean, it's a different story.
It's a different story. Yeah. Then it's a different story. And if you're on social media, we are trying to do everything by our own. It's great to know your numbers, right? Um, you
Yeah,
should
the thing
have
is
like
with
a
social
proper.
media,
Mhm.
I was just to add on that because you mentioned it earlier. If you're like a coach doing organic,
Yeah.
I like when you're doing DMs, I think of it more like planting seeds. Like I'm going to plant 30 seeds a day.
Yeah.
That's starting conversations, that's connecting with people. I'm making offers if it makes sense. I'm moving a conversation forward, and it helps to have pipelines like a new lead, someone I just connected with. Let's just say
Yeah.
if I'm going to use like Facebook, someone who just added me as a friend, and
Yeah.
they're like if they're an ideal client, they're like a new lead, and then from there the next step is not to close the deal, it's to get the conversation started,
Yeah.
and then if they're hot, they're interested, they've shown some type of interest, they have a problem you can help them with, or they have a goal that you can help them with. Um, you know, moves them one step further. And then the next one is like, I want to get them on a call. So the next step is like, I'm going to send out a booking link or try to get them to schedule time. And then the next step is like, I had the call, they showed up. Did they buy? Did I make an offer? If they, for whatever reason, they said no, I'm going to move them to like, to use like the American football term, like I call like the 5 yard line, like they're right
Yeah.
on the edge. And basically from there, you work backwards. So whoever's closest to the finish line, you hit those people first. So, you know, it,
Amen.
you know, whatever it is, you just go backwards. And so most people they kind of prioritize cold leads first or new leads, and like many times those people are the lowest percentage chance because you always want to just think in terms of what is the highest percentage like type of person I could be talking to right now. That again, that's going to give me on a sales call or booking one.
Absolutely. And thank you very much, Ben. That was like pretty much golden nuggets for anybody who was listening out there. And thanks for sharing your knowledge and your wisdom. And actually, you shared your whole story of your life as well. It was amazing to know you even more better. And now a lot of other people will know about you too. And as you coach sometime as well, because to only people who really want to learn, of course they should contact you, and they I know. If I know that if they don't know you're pretty active on Instagram, so they can reach you out as
Yeah.
well, and of course they can reach me out too, as we have a program. So thank you very much, Ben, and
I do
it was
2 reels
amazing
a day on
talking.
Instagram.
Yeah,
I
two
haven't
reels a
missed
day.
either 2 posts or 2 reels. I haven't missed in like a year and a half.
I know that. That's amazing, bro. All right, so it was amazing talking, and enjoy your day.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.